Before I headed back to the UK for my visa interview, my last job was to smash out the cupboards in the back kitchen. We knew it would be a messy job, but I don't think we realised just how much rubble would be created. As my van was going back to the UK to be sold, it was our last chance to take the old kitchen to the déchetterie. I know in the UK we don't tend to build our kitchen units like this, and I think there's a good reason behind that, because when you want to take it out, it makes this much mess. That's just over half of it. And they're on plinths as well, which are probably concrete, and we're unlikely to want the plinths, so that's even more work. We've got all of that to tidy up. To replace with wood. Welcome to Jane's Find of the Day with Jane.
Hello and welcome to this week's Find of the Day, Chateau De Pican. So I'm going to be talking about a Chinese objet today. We've inherited a lot of Chinese vases, figures, plates even, various things. I don't actually know how I would class this. I don't know if it's something you put in the garden or if you put flowers in it. I don't think you eat out of it. But anyway, I have no idea really what this is for. I've managed to find out something about it, but the first thing I want to say is Chinese artifacts require huge amounts of expertise to identify and diagnose and value. So please bear with me. But I did manage to identify what the symbols mean on its base. First of all, I think I had it upside down. I think that's the right way up. And apparently the words would sound something like Ya Wan Zhan Kang, something like that. And it means something to do with delicate collectible treasures. So it's a fairly well-known mark, and I believe it has been generated to suggest an antique, but is in fact almost certainly from the late 20th century, somewhere between mid and late 20th century anyway, so it's not tremendously old, but obviously that still counts as vintage these days. But I like the pattern on it, and I have managed to find an article, different shape, but with exactly the same pattern on it and the same stamp. So I can be reasonably confident of what somebody thinks the value is. Whether or not that's true, I don't know.
With my hot water cylinder barbecue now out of the loft, I needed to get it cleaned up before making a decision on how best to cut it open. I readily admit that this isn't one of the most important jobs on the ever-growing list of things that need to be done before we can start earning money, but damn it, barbecues are so good. Well, I'm dripping with sweat again. Bunty's panting away like a little choo-choo train. I don't know how many times I can get sweaty and shower and sweaty and shower, so I'm going to have a break. Maybe do something when the evening comes and it cools down a little. What have you found, Bunty? Have you found a tortoise? You found a tortoise.
Bunty hadn't found a tortoise, she had in fact found a turtle. A European pond turtle, to be precise.
All right, smarty pants, it's not a tortoise.
Easily identifiable by the yellow spots on their skin and yellow eyes, which identifies her as a girl. They can live for up to 100 years, which means that this little lady could be the longest serving resident of Chateau De Pican.
Over the next few days, we saw the turtle several times. One day, Bunty alerted me to something in the barn, and much to my horror, I found her upside down, unmoving with her head hanging down. I was convinced she had died. Fortunately, as soon as I turned her over, she retracted her head and soon seemed completely revived. We took her back to the pond so she could recuperate in peace. If it hadn't been for Bunty catching her scent, I'm sure she could have been left for days in the barn before being found.
That wasn't the end of her troubles, as she lost her footing on the way back to the water and rolled down the bank. Unperturbed, she soon made it back to the water.
Oh, goodness.
It's a long way down.
Yeah.
Oh, she's quite quick when she knows where she's going.
Yeah.
Off she goes.
And plop.
Oh, bless her.
And off she goes.
Oh my goodness.
She's back in the water. The moment that perhaps none of you have been waiting for.
So I think you can gather that I'm really struggling to value this in any sensible fashion. What I can say is, compared with the item which has got exactly the same pattern, the glaze on this one seems a bit grayer, and if you like, the off-coloured bits are more off-coloured. Is that just because this one's a little bit dirty, or is this one older? This style of pot seems to be relatively unusual. I'm not getting many hits on image search for this style of pot. Do I think the stamp has been painted or stamped? I don't know. Wouldn't like to hazard a guess. It seems fairly central, whereas the one on the other item seems a bit more skew-whiff, not quite straight. So maybe this one was painted, I'm not sure. But all I can tell you is that the other item with the same pattern is on sale for $210 on eBay. So I don't know. It's been painted rather beautifully in enamel, I can tell you that much. It's pretty, it's the colours that I like, so it's a lovely thing. Something I would never have bought, but it's going to be on our shelves here for a while. In late July, we had a mini heat wave. It was too hot to work and too hot to sleep. We decided to go for a walk in the mountains where we hoped the temperature would be cooler.
As we plan to offer chateau-based holidays in the future, it's important to find out what attractions are on our doorstep.
Just over an hour's drive away, this woodland walk was in the mountains near Chateau De Pican and was like something out of a fairy tale, with troll-shaped rocks covered with moss around almost every corner.
Cascading waterfalls cooled the air as we walked by. It was one of the most magical places we've ever visited.
Bunty was in heaven. We didn't get as far up as Le Lac Bleu or the Blue Lake. Maybe next time.
It's possible to hike the trails for hours, but we were content to make ours brief with a stop off at the end for a bite to eat, surrounded by a very sturdy breed of wild horse. If you've enjoyed our video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to stay up to date.